Unit 8, Lesson 9, Interpreting Mean as Fair Share. So fair share is equally splitting things up. You can explain how the mean for the data set represents fair share, and that you can find the mean for a numerical set of data. So for this one it says, use the digits 0 through 9 to write an expression as close as possible to 4. Each digit can only be used once. So for this one, I'm trying to come up with something divided by 4 is going to equal 4. Well, I know that that's got to be 16. So I'm trying to come up with a number that's going to get me to 16, and I'm going to use different digits. So 3 plus 5 is 8. So if I'm trying to think of other digits that equal 8, I would do 7 and 1. And 8 and 8 is 16, so I know that this is going to work. So when I add all that up, 16 divided by 4 is 4. So now I'm going to take a look at kittens. So it says the manager of a shelter wants the kittens distributed equally amongst the crates. How might this be done? How many kittens would end up in each crate? Well, I know that I have 5 crates, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kittens. So I have to split them, and they want them to be split equally. So that means I have to put the same number of kittens in each one. So I'm going to put kittens. So that's 5 kittens. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 2 kittens in each crate, and there were 5 crates. So how might that be done? How many kittens would be in each crate? So there would be 2 kittens in each crate. I did 10 divided by 5 is going to give me 2. So it says the number of kittens in each crate after they are equally distributed is called the mean number of kittens per crate, or the average number of kittens per crate. Explain how the expression 10 divided by 5 is related to the average. Division is dividing equally, is splitting equally. You know that from elementary school. So I take the total number of cats, which was 10, and I split it equally into the 5 crates that I have, and I get 2. So that's how I know that I have 2 kittens. So then it says, a different room at the shelter has 6 crates. So I know I have 6 crates here. And it says there is an average of 3 kittens per crate. So I know that they want to describe at least 2 different arrangements of kittens that match this description, but I can't put the same number of kittens. No 2 crates contain the same number of kittens. So that's kind of where the stick is. So I'm trying to figure out how many total kittens I have. Well, if I have 6 crates and there are 3 cats in each crate, that means I've got a number of 18 that I'm trying to split up. So I'm trying to figure out how to get it into 9s, similarly how I did it before. So I know that I have 4 and 5, that gets me 9, and then I've got to get 9 using 4 other boxes. So I know that 9 plus 6 is going to give me 15, and I'm trying to get to 18, so that could be 0, 1, 2. So that would be 9, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that would be one way I could do it. And they don't want you to just reconfigure the numbers, like to just put them in a different order. So now I'm going to come up with another way, and I'm going to try splitting it into, I'm going to try starting with a smaller number first. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 and see where that gets me. So now I'm at 6. So I need to get rid of 12 more cats, and that sounds awful. I need to divide 12 more cats out. So I've got to figure out how to get to 12 with the current numbers that I have. So I've got 12, and I have 0, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 left to my disposal. And I have to do it in three moves. So I have to somehow get 12. Well, I can do 7 plus 5 is 12 plus 0. So 7, 5, and 0. And that's a different configuration than what I currently have, because this one contains the number of 7 and that one contains the number 6. All right, so now it says 5 servers were scheduled to work the number of hours shown on the table. They decide to share the workload so that each one would work equal hours. So they said how many total hours were worked. Well, that's 9, 20, 27, 31. So that's 31 hours. So I have 31 hourglasses down here, and I am splitting them equally amongst the servers. So this represents 1 hour each. So I'm going to keep separating them because mean means fair share. So I want to give each person an hour in the same way. It's like if I click it twice, it doesn't like that. So right now, each server is working 3 hours, and I still have a lot of hours left. So I'm equally splitting up the hours. So this is how a lot of places do hour splitting, because they don't want one server to feel like they're getting more hours. It's the same way at like Walmart or really anywhere else, because this is the way it should be. So like when teachers divvy up work, you should really take the amount of work and then split it up evenly, which would mean that you're using division. So right now I've got 6 hours in everybody's little group, but then I've got this one lonely hour left over. So what am I going to do with her? Well, that's 1 hour, and I would have to split her equally amongst 5, and it's a her hour, I don't know why, divided by 5. So that would get me 2/10. If you're not sure, check it in your calculator. So that would mean that each server would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, and then that 2/10 of an hour. That would be the fair way to do this. So that's our number. We got to make sure we keep that in mind. So now it says, explain why we can also find the mean by doing 31 divided by 5. Well, you're going to take the total number of hours and divide, that's that key word, divide them equally among 5 people. Okay, so which server will see the biggest change to their work hours? Which server will see the least? So we're looking at the biggest and the least. So I know that my number is 6.2. So 6.2 minus 3 is going to be 3.2 hours. That's just going to be 2/10 of an hour. 11 minus 6.2. So that one's kind of a little bit different because it's a decimal. So just to be safe, I'm going to use my calculator. 4.8. So then 7 minus 6.2 is going to be 8. 6.2 minus 4 is going to be 2.2. All right, so then if I'm looking at the person that's going to have the biggest problem, that's going to be server C. And if I look at the person that's going to have the least amount of change is going to be server B. So that's why kind of when your mom and dad, their hours get cut, or your brother or your sister, or all of a sudden they get a lot of hours, you kind of have to think, well, those hours had to have come from somewhere. So did somebody get fewer hours or something like that? So that's something a manager always has to think about. So now it says, for the past 12 days, Mai has recorded how long her bus rides take to school in minutes. The times are recorded in the table below. So I know I have 12 numbers, so I know I'm dividing by 12. And then I'm going to take these numbers and I'm going to add them up in my calculator. So 9 plus 8 plus 6 plus 9 plus 10 plus 7 plus 6 plus 12 plus 9 plus 8 plus 10 plus 8. Man, I said 8 a lot. So I wonder if it's going to be close to 8. And it's 12 because I have 12 different times, and it's 8.5. So when you add up all these numbers, you add them all up, and then you're going to divide by how many numbers there are. So what does that tell us about Mai's trip to school? It takes about 8.5 minutes to get to school. So then I'm going to take a look at Tyler, and we're looking at how long it takes him to get to school. And it says for 5 days, Tyler recorded, and he said that the mean of his data was 11 minutes. So I'm trying to get an 11, and I know that I'm splitting it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know I'm dividing whatever number I get by 5. So I'm going to sit here with my calculator, and I'm just going to add these numbers up because that's how you find the mean. You get a total of what you got, and then you split it equally. So I have 43. Well, 43 divided by 5 is not going to be 11. So then I'm going to do the next one. So 12 plus 7. And it helps if you practice this. If we were at school, I would definitely not be doing it like this. So I think it's set B, but we're going to see with the next one, because it's really easy with a calculator to make a mistake when you're adding. I should have said divided by 5 equals 11. So then I've got 8. Even though this one has 2 11s in it, it's only 49. And 49 divided by 5 is not going to give me 11. So it had to be data set B. So which data set could it be? Data set B. It added to 55. 55 divided by 5 equals 11. So that's why it's data set B. So now I need you to go ahead and find the mean using your IXL objective, and I need you to take a full-size screenshot. Then I need you to go to your Canvas, export it as a PDF, and then go ahead and do your cool down. Let me know if you've got any questions.